There are basically two ways of approaching a game jam. The first is, you are in it to win it. The theme fits you perfectly, you have a plan, skills to accomplish it, team to support you, and enough time to do it all. As for the other one, well, sometimes your graphics guy is out of town, you have a ton of work, you have kids and they have their own stuff and you gotta take care of that. The theme may be okay, but definitely not your favorite. Well, you can skip the jam in that case, or you can double down. So make something weird, experimental, janky, something you haven't done before. So this is the approach that I chose at the start of this jam. If I had a less busy week, I would have gone with a game where you have a ship without the fuel, so you have to burn cargo, food, parts of the ship, everything, because everything is a resource. But since I went with janky experimental, I have never done this before, I decided to make a game about building a tower. Out of everything, because... To build a tower, you need to be able to grab stuff. So the first thing I made was a script that describes behavior of a grabbable object and a grab point that can move after it grabs something. This is pretty basic, but I like the effect. I decided that after something is added to the tower, it should no longer be affected by physics. This way the player won't have to worry about tower collapsing and can just focus on trying to build the tower as big as they can. And because I wanted my game to be more arcadey, where you try to beat the high score in a limited time, I added a score counter and a timer. At this point you can see that I have quite a few components that have to know each other's state. I have the objects making the tower. I have the grabber, the height measuring component, the timer and the point counter, the camera manager, and soon the audio manager. Now those objects could just hold references to each other, but that would make my code very messy. I could use events to decouple objects, but I felt that it wouldn't give me enough control over how objects interact, and for this reason I use the mediator pattern. The mediator acts as a go-between for all the other stuff. It holds references to other components and passes the data between them when it's needed. This way, I don't have to remember which objects call each other, and I don't have any problems where, for example, one component stops the timer and the other tries to start it. Okay, so that's all for the first day. The next day, I started to work on how the game should look and feel. You start in your sandbox seeing just several toy cars. Since the camera moves a bit further each time you place another object on the tower, you see more stuff you can use, like garden furniture, or a car, or a house, or several houses. This is also the moment I decided to add more player feedback. I divided my objects into several categories: toys, furniture, cars, and buildings. I made it so my audio manager plays a random sound related to this category when the object is placed on the tower. When you start placing buildings, there is also a particle effect at the point of impact and also some camera shake. Nice. And I added a new camera that shows off your tower once the timer runs out. At this point I also added menus, restarting the game, and online leaderboards so that players can compare their scores against other players. Also, this is a moment I decided to add an Easter egg. To find it, you have to add 3 special vehicles to the tower. Okay, so at this point I have a beta version of my game. I implemented all the stuff that I wanted to implement, but that doesn't mean the development is finished. I still have some polishing to do, some experimenting to do, and that means adjusting the mass of the objects, adjusting the settings on the grab point, tweaking the physics settings. In between the gameplay adjustments, I also changed the color space to aces and added bloom, which you can probably see. And is that it? After adding music, changing the wind camera to something more dynamic and tweaking it even more, I have this. Is this my best jam game yet? Yeah, nowhere close. It's a junky, weird mess. Did I enjoy making it? Hell yeah. And this brings me back to the beginning. You don't always have to make your new masterpiece. Sometimes it's fine to make a weird physics game just for the fun of it.